And as always, we're going to be looking for accurate context, good risk management, and always exercising good patience.
Everybody who's traded has gone through periods of time where their strategy hasn't worked.
Where if not a hard stop, you should reevaluate the trades you're in based on time.
That's what we're here for, is to put ourselves in the best success. A trading routine does that, builds that habit, lets you know what to work on, what to reflect on, and what to improve on the next day.
Good morning, friends, family, and futures traders. It's time for the market forecast, Tuesday, July the 26th. I'm John Hoagland. Thanks for trusting me with your time. And of course, our focus is always on finding accurate context, being good risk managers, and remaining patient. Today's National Love Is Kind Day. I'm wearing my uniform today, as you can see. And I think maybe this morning I'm going to start with my deep breath first. We have a lot of information coming out that's going to affect the markets today, tomorrow, and Thursday. Today at 8 a.m. Central Time, the Case-Shiller Home Price Index is due out. The FHFA House Price Index is also out. We have consumer confidence at 9 o'clock Central today, along with new home sales and the Richmond Fed Manufacturing Index. We know we've got a lot coming out, and we got to be ready for it. As far as other things going on, Walmart with a profit warning yesterday has stocks set to open lower as the eco data deluge begins, alongside with major earnings due today. Earnings already out. Coca-Cola beats on both. McDonald's mixed returns. UPS and GE both beat. And GM also mixed on both returns. After the close today, we have Microsoft, we have Alphabet, we have Visa, we have Texas Instruments, just to name a few. There's a very long list of earnings today. So, along with everything else we've got to keep track of, we got to keep track of those earnings here at the end of the day. Energy prices, that's crude and natural gas, of course, it traded higher overnight as Russia reduces the amount of natural gas flowing into Germany through the Nord Stream pipeline. Who go figure, how long did we think that was going to last? We have the API after the close today for crude information. They're expecting a 1.1 million barrel draw. And of course, we have the IEA tomorrow for you crude traders, and the information from the EIA on Thursday for the natural gas. VIX is up about 2.6% this morning, 23.98 last I checked. The dollar index also higher this morning, 107.25. And the yield on the 10-year has slipped down to 1.25%. Kind of strange. We know what we've got coming tomorrow with the FOMC. The FOMC meeting begins today. We get the release tomorrow at 1 p.m. Central. Most people expecting a 75 basis point hike in rates. As always, make sure you hit the lucky like button. Share, comment, question, feedback, heckling, love, and kindness are always welcome here on the market forecast. And I want to thank everybody for saying good morning and chiming in and letting me know you're here. Shaw talking about the open interest increase in the S&Ps and the equities. My brother Rick, love you. Scotch saw and he conquered. Dimitar, Chris, Tom, my brother, I love you too. Chris, good to see everybody. Patrick, good morning. Does all the craziness start today or one more day of peace and calm before the chaos kicks in the door? Well, we never really know, do we, Patrick? We got to keep a close eye on all this housing information coming out today as we get closer to, or we are actually in, a recession. The first thing that I think that's going to fall is the housing market. We're probably going to see some things slow way down with regards to rates moving higher. It's going to be more expensive for those that want to buy a house to buy a house. It's going to slow things down considerably in the housing market, and it's just one of the levers that we're going to see start to slow down as we get closer to or get deeper into our recession. Dark Heaven, good morning. You didn't make it first. We had Shaw, who won the prize this morning for being first in the room. What do you say you room on a Bitcoin short today? Look at that sideways action. Well, we'll have to see. We got a room full of Hoaglands today. We got Eric Hoagland here. Eric, as far as I know, is not related. And I just got word that Mom's watching this morning. So everybody be cool and be kind. Terry, good morning. My goodness. Manuel Caesar, Tachyon, nobody. Everybody is somebody, nobody. Where do we go here? Where do we go? I lost you. Chris Johnson, good to see you. Bob Rudder. Hola, amigos. Bill Phillips, good morning. Marcelo, David, JST Wave, I Print Money. I still love that name. Andy Bleed, good morning. Orion, George Duque, good morning. Frederico, Charles March, DA, Andy Bleed. What's the spike? Was that a late spike in ES, or does it need to leave the range? It needs to leave the range. We'll check that on the charts here shortly, Andy. Denise, good morning. It's good to see you. Rob T. Vince, my guy, good to see you. Jay, Alfred, Sarah, good morning. Love and prayers to you as well. Dr. VJ, Trading Research. Jerry is awake. Good morning. Three Lions. The Rooster, Hegel Matters. Good morning, everyone. Anissa, good morning. Phil, JD, good to see you, sir. Rusty Golfer, my spirit animal. Nicholas, Jules, good morning. Equanimous, good to see you, Equanimous. I don't think I've seen you in a while. It's good to see you from Oak Brook Terrace, Illinois, right up the road here. Jerry is awake. Hopefully I'm awake as well. Build them like a pancake around here. Sup, John's mom? Everybody's saying good morning, Mom. Dead letter opener. Joe, good to see you. With the expectation of a balanced day, how do we approach the opening 1 minute range play? Good morning. Well, if we're trading the equities, which I believe are largely inside value, I tend to stay off the opening range trades in when the market is opening in value, because there's just no real change in the perception of value. Doesn't mean that it may not be fruitful, but just the market tends to kind of show that it's just kind of picking up where it left off yesterday. Anthony, everybody's saying good morning, Mom. Rick says good morning. Ron, Daniel, William. Today is Make Hoag Money. There is the link to sign up for Make Hoag Money. This is right after the market forecast. At about 8:20, we open up a Zoom room. We will check out the S&Ps. We discuss trades. We're always looking for better ways to improve our process. And that I got an email from our friend Ben last night that had some good suggestions on that. We'll maybe talk about that when we're in Make Hoag Money. But it's always a fun time because you guys get to pick the trades and try and make me money. So far, overall, we've been making money in that account. We're going to be taking it live very soon. So, good morning, chilling with Dylan. And looking forward to seeing everybody at Make Hoag Money, as always. Good session yesterday with group coaching, I thought. Some pretty good, important questions asked and hopefully answered correctly. Nobody knows everything. I know I don't. But we do our best to work together, and a bunch of traders talking trading. All right. So, hey, we got Lacey over here saying good morning, everyone. I don't know if you can see her little face over here. Not quite. You may see an ear or a nose pop up here, but she is saying good morning here. She always likes to get a good pet when I start the market forecast. I think she hears my voice and just comes over and hangs out sometimes, but here she is. What else? All right, well, without further ado, we want to get done here by about 8:15 on the forecast today because of Make Hoag Money. We're going to start here with the S&Ps right away. Let's take a look. So I have notes that I do every morning for these markets, and doing 7 markets, it's sometimes a lot. And this morning I was just looking at things and thinking, I think I really want to focus on what the market is saying today. there's information coming out as the day goes on here. We're gonna see what the Case-Shiller Home Index and the FHA Index says here at 8 o'clock. To see if there's any response in the markets. But I think to come into a day like today with a bias is going to be a little bit of a challenge. Now, yesterday in the equities, we were kind of expecting a range-bound day. We didn't have a lot of information, and knowing what we have this week, just a lot of traders, I think, just positioning themselves to protect themselves for what anything that can happen this week. And that's our acronym here, ACH, anything can happen. And look at the S&Ps. We added about 13,000 in open interest yesterday on low volume. I think that's really just traders getting themselves positioned and to protect themselves or from sudden volatility that could happen anytime this week. We have an inside day and extended trading hours last night. The housing data that we've got coming out here shortly may knock things around a little bit. Let's take a look at where we are. We had some pretty decent open interest coming in to this push to the upside. Friday, we lost open interest, which would be expected. We had some long liquidations, some profit taking. We haven't really left Monday's range yet. Value is large. Well, Monday's range here, we're inside of it. We're kind of spanning value. Do we have any overnight inventory? We really don't. I mean, the market opened here. It's currently trading here. I'm not seeing that there's a large amount of overnight inventory with which to take advantage of. Settlement was all the way up here, 39.70, and as Walmart came out with their information, they knocked our stocks a little bit lower, but not tremendously. What I find myself asking, if we didn't have all this information that we knew was coming out, I would be saying, okay, the market has been attempting to move higher. We've got value moving higher, staying inside pretty much Friday's value yesterday. The market is attempting to go higher. It seems to be. Is it doing a good job? We've got open interest increasing on up days. We have a loss in open interest on a down day. So that kind of goes with the paradigm shift that I sensed last week in the marketplace. We started seeing open interest increasing on up days instead of cutting off. The one day we had a big down day, we cut off open interest. Yesterday, I'm looking at more range bound and hedging positions. Looking at this, I don't think that the market is doing a very good job of continuing its upside move. And a lot of that, of course, is we have to blame on the information that we do have coming out today, tomorrow, Thursday, GDP Thursday. It's going to be a big one. We've got about 2 minutes before the housing information comes out, at least the first two for the day. So I'm going to stay patient. Do we look for an opening range trade in the S&Ps? Well, we're kind of outside of value. If we open outside of value, I would say there's maybe a slight higher probability of the opening range actually trading, actually playing out. Lacey, come here. You stay up here, girl. So, with that said, we've already got the market kind of looking lower here. If we start to move to the downside and we have an opening range opportunity, it's something that I would probably consider taking. We're gonna be together for Make Hope Money. So, Lacey, I'm talking. You're not talking. Lacey. We're going to be together for Make Hope Money. We're going to see where this market opens up, and it may open up an early opportunity like the opening range trade for us. Let's take a quick look. Linda says hi, Lacey. She wants to get in on the show here. There's a dog walking in front of the house, so she's just upset she's not out there. But we're busy, Lacey. We got things to do. Lacey. All right, so we got about 20 seconds here before the Case-Shiller and FHFA housing price index come out. So I'm going to leave this chart on here, and as soon as it comes up, we're going to see what the market does. We have Shiller is expected to be at 20.6, which is about 7 points, 6 points lower than it was on the last release. Okay, Shiller came out to 20.5%, only 0.1% lower. The HFHA, that's it, right? FHFA came out 1.4%. So both of them came out basically 0.1% lower than expected. We were seeing a little bit of knee jerk here in the S&Ps. We took out yesterday's low. We're going to have to see how this market opens up at 8:30 to see if we're going to find any good opportunities as far as opening range trades are concerned. Crude oil. Okay, well, we've got this market looking a little bit expensive inside this channel here, or as we like to call it on the recap, the Dan'l, in honor of our good friend Dan Hodgman. We had a nice build in open interest, maybe a little bit, 1,400. We're not in rollover here, so this is, pretty solid information. What did we do? Well, we attempted to move lower yesterday against last week's low. We were rejected, and I think the open interest is coming into the long side. Now we're continuing that. We've got a test of this top of the channel trend line, which has 1, 2, 3, now 4 points of contact. The more points of contact, the more I believe that it's going to provide a decent opportunity, whether it's a way to the downside from that level or a breakout above and a continuation to the upside. We've got a couple of barriers to change this market from this medium time frame downside structure. We've got this trend line to break, and then we've got weekly kickoff high to accept above before I believe we're really going to see this market move back to the upside. And there's a lot of speculation about that. Here's the 30. Okay. Settlements all the way down here, 96.70. We've opened with a gap, which may indicate an opening range trade is possible, but the opening ranges in crude oil have been so huge they've been inhibitive to try and take them. Here's the 1 minute chart. So 31 to 57. This is one of the smallest ones that we've seen. We're looking at a 26 tick opening range, and if we've taken our short below the low of the opening range, our stop is we can, I think, maybe risk 30 points on this, and we'll see if we see a continuation to the downside. Remember, in the longer time frame, we've been testing up against a trend line which now has 4 solid touch points. Opening range, the high of the day. We've got overnight inventory to the long side. If we can't close this gap relatively early, then I think we start to look for opportunities to buy weakness. We'll have to see. Let's see if that opening range remains. Yep, it does. Maybe we'll get a chance to come back and look at that before we go on to make Hogue money. The NASDAQ, which has been presenting as stronger, is now presenting as a little bit weaker. We've got an overlapping to lower range. We did add 3,200 in open interest yesterday in the NASDAQ. Is this showing us a nice reversal pattern? Would you call this a bearish engulfing pattern? What about in the S&Ps? Do we have the same situation on the daily chart? We would have maybe a bearish piercing pattern, not an engulfing pattern. So we've got a lot of tech earnings due out starting today with Google and Microsoft, right? We got Microsoft today. Yep, Microsoft and Alphabet. So a lot of tech coming out. So overlapping to lower overnight range. Take a look at the 30. Okay, this market is certainly presenting as a little bit lower. We just extended down below yesterday's low. Settlement is up here, 12,354.50. Overnight inventory? No, not really. I mean, we've been both sides. The opening of last night was over here. No real overnight inventory. We just took a look down below. I'm going to try and stay patient. And again, there may be a possible opening range trade in this if we open outside of value. Is certainly, and even with a higher probability if we open outside of range. But I don't see that necessarily happening. Gold is a pill. Still range bound, still short time frame controlled. It's the last day we're going to be trading the August contract. August still has about twice as much volume as the December contract. Remember, we're moving all the way to the December contract. There's a couple of contracts between that don't get traded much. They're kind of bastard contracts, and we won't be trading those. We're going all the way to December tomorrow. So here we are. We were kind of inside the trading range earlier today. We've extended just a little bit to the downside here. These Friday and Monday lows are going to be somewhat pivotal for us today. We took a look down to them earlier after the open, and we rejected. Now we've got some potential. Here's those lows Monday, Friday. We've got this trend line. We looked lower after the open, prior to the open, and we've been just kind of rotating back and forth inside of value. So in gold, the fact that we're inside value tells me to try and stay patient, wait for opportunities as the day goes on. Very little change in the perception of value of a bar of gold. Settlement is all the way up here at 17.1910. High of value from yesterday. We tested to it after the open. We tested kind of close to the low of value from yesterday. There's not a lot going on here. As far as overnight inventory, we started this session right here. Where are we? We're right here. We don't have any overnight inventory with which to take advantage of today. So again, try and stay patient. The euro, we've seen a nice uptick in the dollar. Dollar caught a bid, so we've got the euro coming off of that kind of what would you call this, a battle against sellers up here that the buyers just have not been able to win. Volume and open interest died yesterday. Look how low the volume was. In open interest, we lost 100. No change in open interest yesterday. The lows here, the current session low, is pretty close to these swing lows. This is a somewhat pivotal area for us today. Take a look at the 30. So this is a gap that we've previously left unfilled. We've attempted to fill it, but not successfully in the regular trading hour session. We've got a whole bunch of overnight longs here. We've opened with a gap. If we can't close the gap, then I'll look for a close of this gap at some point during the day. If we can't close this gap, I'd look for a gap close back to yesterday's range at some point today. A lot of overnight shorts with a big gap. If we can't get down here and refill this gap, then again, I think we're going to see a lot of shorts get nervous and bring price back towards a gap close to yesterday. The 10-year, apparently, the rate hike is in the market. We've got price kind of going back towards last week's high here. We have rates slipping to the downside this morning. We lost 3,800 in open interest yesterday on an inside extended trading hour range. Do you think that there's a lot of traders that have been trying to work the short side, looking for an increase in rates here, and I think they just continue to get ground up? Overnight inventory is very long. Settlement is down here at 119.21. Last week's high is our current regular trading hour session high here, and this is going to be again somewhat pivotal. So we've got last week's high and we've got our weekly kickoff high in play today. We're seeing a little bit of resistance here at last week's high. Makes sense. Makes sense. What doesn't make sense is the rates keep slipping to the downside. when rates are going to be going up. Nat gas, our healthiest auction so far. Seeing a nice pullback, and it's one of the things that I was warning about this morning in my notes. Here's the daily. This auction to the upside has been, including rollover, but for the last 3 sessions has been increasing in volume and increasing in open interest. We added another 7,100 yesterday in open interest up against this weekly kickoff high, opening above it, driving higher. This past weekly kickoff high is here for a reason. It's still a very important level in longer time frame. So it's a $9.52.53 up there. And one of the things that I was warning about is watch out for the vicious pullback. And I would start to call this a vicious pullback. Fundamentals, global fundamentals, are substantiating this healthy auction to the upside. But again, beware the vicious pullback. And as I finish writing it, we end up with a vicious pullback. We got a lot of overnight longs here. Anybody looking to buy this market would probably be thinking the same thing I was thinking. I'm going to see if we can get a decent pullback so I can buy this market on weakness instead of having to pay up. And it looks like that's exactly what might be happening here. So we got a lot going on in the markets. We've got a lot going on today with Make Hogue Money, and I'm looking forward to seeing everybody there. It looks like we got our troll back here. And I do apologize about that. I wish there was something I could really do about it. Sell, Mortimer, sell. Expecting better buy points on Thursday, probably Wednesday. Don't just stand there, Wilson. Get back in there and sell. Sell. Silver trading higher. Rick likes to trade that silver. Good. Thanks for pointing that out. And we are, I think, ready for the day. I'm as ready as I'm going to get. Remember to focus on what the market is telling you. That's your biggest teacher. That's your biggest indicator is what you're seeing in the markets. Well, let's take our deep breath. Remember to stay kind to others. Stay kind to yourself. Say a prayer for peace in the world and peace in yourself. Deep breath. We started it with a deep breath. Let's end it with a deep breath. Always very cleansing. I hope that you guys actually do that. And be ready for the day. Oh, boy. Crude still holding the opening range at the high of the session. See you in just a few minutes at Make Hogue Money. If I don't see you, trade well today. Find some profits and keep them. It's going to be an interesting few days, ladies and gentlemen. I'm really looking forward to going through this all with you. See you in the proverbial trading pit in just a couple of minutes. Trade well today.